Hi and welcome to one of my vintage i5 videos. Today I'll be showing you a little bit of soldering that I've had a request a couple of times now for, so I want to actually get one up there. Now I've actually done a bit of soldering recently. I tried to get the camera angle as good as possible, but it was awkward for me, like trying to get a camera so you could see and me doing it from the wrong angle really. But anyway, two receivers I'm going to be working on. But first, before I tell you, I just want to tell you a bit about it before I actually show you the video, because I'm going to disappear at the end of it. Stay as long as you like, because there'll be nothing else at the end. I'll just say bye and that's it, kind of thing. Yeah, first of all, I've got 3 soldering irons now. I needed 2. I had a 100-watt soldering iron and a 30-watt soldering iron, which seemed to do me for every job I wanted, to be honest with you, until now I started mucking about with these receivers and whatever, and doing a bit of soldering on these. And these tracks are a little bit thicker, the iron's a bit thicker, the solder's a little bit thicker, and it's old solder as well, and it takes sometimes a bit of going to get it melted. 30-watt iron wasn't really ideal for that. It's more for doing little bits of pieces on these kind of, like, I don't know if you've seen on these little Vero boards. Everything's nice and clean. The joints are clean. Sorry, the tracks are nice and clean. The parts you're putting in there are nice and clean. Everything's clean. So a little bit of heat, 30 watts is ideal, and it makes a good job of that. But not the case with this really. Not unless you're really lucky and get some. But as they're old, like I say, you want a bit more power. The other iron's got is a 100-watt iron, and it's just too hot. It's going to be, it's just too, it's all right for doing joints on bits of metal where you've got a bit of metal, like the earth of the case or something. You've got a lot of solder there, because the casing will kind of like suck the heat in. So a 30-watt iron would be useless. A 60-watt may be okay, but the 100-watt will do something like that, or more heavy duty kind of job. So yeah, I took a chance. I wasn't buying something reasonable, but I see an iron on eBay, $9.99, and you've got all these gadgets with it, and I thought, but it's going to be rubbish, but quite a few people seem to give it a good write-up, so I thought I'd give it a chance. I've mucked about with it. This is really the first time I've used it. And so far it's been okay, but obviously time will tell. I do a few more other bits and pieces. So yeah, this is the first time I'm using the iron, and I point that out. It's also the first time I'm using some solder braid, some new solder braid. Obviously I've used it before, but I've run out of solder braid, so I bought 2 lots of solder braid, which was lucky enough I did, because as you'll see with the first one, I left it in here for a reason, is that I start soldering, desoldering using the braid. I could have used a solder sucker, one of these things here. This is a cheap one, I've got a few of them laying about, there's another one somewhere. But basically just, you put it on the joint and you get as near as possible, and I don't know if you can see that, and it just sucks the solder up. It's okay. I do prefer the braiding maybe, and it seemed to work okay with this as well. But yeah, I had 2 lots, and I had the soldering iron. This is the first time I'm using the soldering iron, and you'll see I stayed quite a while using this braid and the soldering iron. Not a lot was happening, and I didn't know what it was, and I was filming and I thought, oh, it's the iron probably, being so cheap, it's probably no good. And it took me a while to realise, well, maybe it's the braiding, so I swapped the braiding. As you can see, it was okay by then, and I could have deleted that and not shown you that and gone straight in and showed you how good I am or something at doing something, but I thought I'd leave that in just to, like, you live and learn. And I think it's about having the right tools and the right equipment and the right bits, because without it you're going to struggle. Being like in the medium kind of, I put myself medium kind of thing at doing these. Like, I'm not an expert, but I'm not a real beginner, I don't think. But an expert probably would have got away with that. He would have persevered. He would have got around that. But someone like me, and maybe anyone new, I think you need some good tools, some good stuff. Otherwise, you're going to cause problems for yourself. So to just make your life easier. So yeah, I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything out. Yeah, so okay, the first video is actually my Marantz 1530 receiver I bought recently, and it arrived damaged. So I'm just trying to sort the damage out. I will do a video about that. But on this particular occasion, I want to take 2 capacitors out for a reason. That'll become apparent when I make this new video. It doesn't really matter now. Took 2 capacitors out. You'll see me take them out. Then you'll see me solder 2 new ones in. Just from the the top of the bolt. This kind of like side. You'll see the soldering side. That's that. Then we move on to this, which is a Rotel, an old Rotel that arrived damaged as well. Believe it or not. I think I've done a little review of it. But what I did on there, and you're only going to see, I took 2 controls out. I took the volume and balance, but you're only going to see me take the balance control out. But I did eventually take the volume as well, pretty much the same as the other one. But I've included this as well. The picture quality on here ain't quite as good as the first one. I had too much light on it, and the camera kind of defocused itself because there's too much light bouncing back, I think. But you will pick it up, I think. Now these controls, this balance control actually goes into the board and it pokes out the other side, and actually they bent the connections over, so not only was it was soldered and bent over, so I had to desolder it and put it up at the same time, which is not easy because you can have solder underneath the bending of the board, which makes it harder to get out. Anyway, you'll see me do that, and I've left it in there as well just to show you that, you know, if you leave the iron on there too long, I'll get a board that's too old, quite old, which this is in here, the tracks can start lifting, and you'll see the track start lifting just a little bit if you look closely. And I do try and point it out. So just to be careful with tracks lifting, you don't want too much of that happening because it can be a pain. You can do, you know, you can run like jumpers and stuff like that, pieces of wire jumpers, but it can be a bit of a pain, and it's better not, you know, if it don't happen kind of thing. So that's it really. So hopefully they know that's going to kind of tee you up for what's coming. Yeah, like I say, hopefully I'll do some more videos and some soldering at a later date. But you know, I'm going to disappear now. I'll say thank you for watching. At the end of the video, it just cut off basically. So thanks for watching, and see you all soon. Pins here, so let's get rid of some of that braiding, and we'll try and get that out. And go from there. I probably won't keep turning it over to show you me putting it in there. I mean, pretty straightforward putting the part back in. I'll just show me unsoldering it. Hopefully this, yeah, if I go in there. Now this is a 60 watt iron. I've actually got a 31, but it's not that great sometimes of heating up. It dissipates on the circuit board so quickly. It's alright for soldering, but for unsoldering it's not that great. So I use this 60 watt one that I bought off of eBay. It's not that great, to be honest with you. The tip seems to be falling apart, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not too sure now. So much so that braiding is actually stuck to the board there. Just a bit more there, a bit more heat. Yeah, this can be so like I say, if you keep an eye on the green track, make sure that doesn't start bubbling or moving. It shouldn't do, but it can do. It's just, you know, depending on how well it's stuck on there. Usually pretty good. I think it's only ever happened once to me, but it can happen. This solder braiding here is absolutely useless on this particular one. Maybe not the best way of doing this capacitor, to be honest with you. It's got some of it off, not a great deal. This is a bit slow and tedious, this one. I'm actually putting the tip of the iron, which maybe is not the greatest, rather than giving it a bit more of an angle and laying it down. It's a bit awkward to get to coming from this way. If I come the other way, you're probably not seeing what I'm doing anyway. Try and bring that out a bit. Just trying to get that braiding. The iron's not giving out enough heat here, and I think it's cleaned the tip of the iron. Got my little cleaner somewhere as well. He's over here. Like a wire wall thing, just push it into. Give it a couple of stabbings of that, and we'll carry on. Yeah, not going to plan this. In fact, I've got another bit of braiding somewhere. If I can find it, it may be better than that one. In fact, what's this? Let's try this one. This is a different make. May just be a little bit better if I can get the bugger open. Okay, let's give this, yeah, these obviously made in China. This looks quite dusty, to be honest with you, but we'll give it a go. It may be better. We'll take that end off because it looks quite frayed there. Yeah, this looks a bit cheap and nasty as well, to be honest with you. If you've got cheap and nasty stuff, you end up with a job being no good or taking a lot longer. Let's have a look. This may be better. There we go. I think that one's doing a bit better, even though I said it weren't that great. It's actually just goes to show you that this is the one I've got here, and I was using that one. So at the moment this one's doing a lot better, but time will tell, I suppose. So that should be loose and it's going to fall out, so I'm going to turn it over and get it out. Okay, we've located the capacitor I want to take out, and it's just there, these two. So you may not see what I'm actually doing. It's going to be a bit awkward for me to get there anyway. One of them's quite close. Yes, I may just do one and do the other one without you watching, so to speak. Now, I've changed my solder braid as well, because I think that one wasn't great, and I'm hoping this one's going to be a bit better. Different make, so we go for, ended up cutting my finger there, nearly. Trying to, so sharp them pliers of mine, or them cutters. I picked them up and nearly, anyway. Right, so I'm going to come in with this one here. It's a bit, like I say, it's a bit awkward to get to really, but I've got a different solder braid. I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit better, this solder braid. And that does look a lot better than the other one, I think. I may not be able to show you this because I'm actually going to have to get my head in there to see what's happening. And there you go, that one is definitely a lot better. Let's hope I picked the right part. So yeah, I'm going to turn you off while I whiz it over. Okay, right, I pushed it in there. Just make sure, double check. You always just double check that you put it in the right way round before actually soldering, and especially before turning on. Like I say, just take a picture of what it looked like first of all, and what you end up doing, and then you compare them. So what I'm going to do is just solder this first one first, like that. And now I can pull this one straighter where I've bent them both over to kind of keep in position. I do like to have the pins straight as many as I can. So that's that. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I need a bit of space. I haven't got a lot here, and keep bumping into everything. So yeah, let that cool down a little bit. I'll get our snippers and just a millimetre or so away from the actual solder joint. We'll give it a little clip. Like I say, a nice sharp pair of these. Worth replacing these every now and again. That's fine. Okay, that's that one replaced. Now I'm tempted. Okay, we'll put it in the right way. We double checked it. Like I say, I took a photo of the board earlier. I always refer back to that photo on my phone, and it's in the right way. So I'm just going to do this lead here first. A very good solder to me. Let's try that again. Looks a bit better. Okay, so yeah, now that's held in place. I can straighten this leg up rather than it falling straight back out again. A bit of an awkward angle. Like I said, I'm trying to film it. I really make sure I'm in a good position with the iron. Bit awkward with the camera and lights and everything else, and I probably would have had it in well, I would have come for it at a different angle, but anyway, there you go, that's that one in. So again, we'll just snip that about a millimetre or so from the board, not right against it, don't want to damage the joint, and that looks fine. So that we're going to do now, just going to get a little bit of solder just to tin the iron to start off with. And that is really a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to use the wick first of all. This is the wick I've been using. I did try some other stuff and it didn't help at all. So yeah, just a little note to myself, just to mention also, make sure when you've got your soldering iron, the lead's nice and straight, it ain't all tangled up, you know, it's not got kinks in it. Just makes life a little bit easier. So just thought I'd mention that. In fact, and give yourself plenty of room, like I always say, which I haven't really got here, but we'll give it a go anyway. We're just going to take this wire off, and actually for the wire we're probably not going to need any braiding at all. Just going to introduce the wire there, the soldering iron there, and that wire just lift off there quite nice and easy. And hopefully you can see, we'll just go over the other side, and there you go, the wire's completely away. Show that left, and that's it. Right, okay, so let's don't lose that. Okay, we're going to take these 6. Oh, I can't see the. Oh no, it's the thingy bob. Sorry, I'm getting my controls mixed up. This is the balance control. It's only got 3 prongs, so we're just going to take them 3 out. The trouble is this, they actually bent over. I think a couple of them are. Yeah, so we're going to get rid of the solder and have a little look, and we may just have to bend them back to get them to come through the board. Just seeing there that there looks like it's actually lifting off the board a little bit there, maybe. That's the trouble with these old boards, the track could start actually lifting, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Anyway, we'll go for the middle one first. And there we can see the solder being sucked up the wick. Yeah, these tracks. Yeah, I can actually see the track coming off the board here. Not to worry. We can run a little bit of wire. Let's see how we go. Right, I can't see because I'm at a wrong angle here, but yeah, that's clear. That's nice and clear, that one. Now these others are going to be a little bit awkward because they're actually bent over, so I'm actually going to stand up rather than sit down. I don't usually do it standing up, but best to be getting nice and comfortable. That track is definitely coming off the board there. But let's get in here anyway and try and sort this one out. Now I can stand up. I may just give that soldering iron a little clean. Let's just give that a little clean, just on the sponge that comes with it. Actually got one of these as well, but it's just a little sponge, you know, it goes to the bottom. But also this as well. This comes in and you just dab the iron in there. That also cleans it. But this ain't a great iron, but it's going to be all right for this, I think. This is a cheap one off of eBay, only because it was a 60 watt iron rather than the 30 one I got. 30 watt one, which I usually use for little circuits if I'm doing any little circuits, but this is old and maybe you need just a little bit more heat on these circuits. Now this is going to be a bit awkward now. I'm going to try and get as much solder out of the way as possible here. But I've got to try and ping that up without moving the track as well. So use just a little screwdriver to start off with. I think there's still some solder there, so I must go in again just to try and clear that solder completely. Because like I say, this here is quite an old board, and it's going to be one, you're not going to get many of these, but it's going to be one where the tracks are going to come up, I think, if we go a bit too hard. Or leave the iron on there a bit too long. I think it's near enough. Should feel it move a little bit, which I'm not at the moment. But that may do it. Let's have a look. I may try and get it moving first of all, so it actually moves. Be so careful we don't ping that track up. Awkward that this is bent over, where the other one's nice and see there, the track coming up there. See, if I put it up there, it's an old track, and this can happen quite easily. And we're not there yet with that. It's going to take a little bit more. The trouble is, the more we go into it, the more chance of that track coming up. It's not too bad if it comes up. It's actually if it comes up and you kind of push too hard on the iron and push the track along and it disappears off the board, so to speak. We're really trying to get every little bit of solder there, so maybe holding it in. There's hardly anything coming on this wick. But we're still trying to get as much as possible. I mean, we wouldn't normally do this on a part that we're going to put back in because the iron's going to be on there so long it may actually damage the part in the end, but we are going to put this in. This one should be quite, I think that's coming up. I can't really see from my angle, to be honest with you. Yes, it's there. So we've got that up. I'm just going to straighten it up now with these little pinchers. There you go. Takes a little bit longer, like I say. Don't get many of them when it's bent over. I haven't come across many at the moment. I've done. There could be tons of them, but for what I've mucked about with at the moment, there hasn't been many. So this one's got quite a bit of solder on it. If you find it's working, if you find you're leaving on there too long, not that I'm no expert here, but If you're leaving it on there too long and nothing's happening, then give your iron a little clean. Make sure it's clean and go again, because like I say, the heat on this old stuff could pull the tracks up and you could find yourself in a spot of bother. That's why it's best to take a picture as well, so you can see where the tracks actually went and what you're working with. Okay, I don't want to make the video too long, so we'll just get this one out. We won't bother with it. I won't show the other one, but it's going to be pretty much the same. I should do exactly the same with the other one, hopefully. And we're having both out. This is for a little experiment I'm doing, maybe a video on it later. But there's actually nothing wrong with these, but I thought it may make an okay, there you go, an okay soldering one. I'll come back and we'll solder these back in place. That'd be exciting, I suppose. Now hopefully that is all soldering that in there. We're going to wiggle it about, just a little wiggle, not too much. And we've got one wire attached to it, but we're not too. It's one of these special pots that's got 4 tabs on it actually, but I won't go into that in this video. I basically just took that out just to show you that video there of that pot actually. Anyway, hopefully that's been of some use. Like I say, just be careful these tracks coming up when you're on this type of board, mainly like these type. This is quite an old board, going by the looks of it. I'll show you a newer board hopefully, and this is quite an old board coming up there, and over a period of longer, like a few years time or 10-20 years time, they could quite easily all come off. So there must be a way of coating that with something to re-stick it down, maybe just glue or something. I'm not too certain, to be honest with you. Maybe something I'll look into. Anyway, that's it for now, and join me back soon.